Hello everyone, this is Bilal Khan and you are watching my YouTube channel, the Safety and Compliance Center. I am here to make learning HSC simple, practical and exciting. Let's work together to unlock your potential and build a successful career in health, safety and environment. In this video, we will discuss about the Confined Space Entry Plan. We will break down each step in the preparation of Confined Space Entry Plan and discuss how to identify, manage the risk and prepare your site-specific Confined Space Entry Plan. The objective of this video is very simple. It is to ensure that you understand the essential components of the Confined Space Entry Plan, like the identification of hazard, managing the risk, and preparing your site's specific Confined Space Entry Plan. Well, to understand exactly what confined space means is in any area with the limited access and egress, and there is the possibility of toxic gases, the presence of flammable gases, or there is oxygen deficiency. Either all of the hazard are present or one of them is there, it will be considered as a confined space. The example includes like tanks, the vessels, and pipelines, pits, and silos, etc. It is important to understand who actually is responsible to prepare the confined space entry plan. So, as in Aramco facilities, SAVO, like the Saudi Aramco Proponent Organization, or the area owner or the contractor is responsible to prepare the confined space entry plan specific to that confined space. While preparing a confined space, the very first step is to define the scope of work, starting by describing the work to be done, who is involved in that activity, the type of work will be carried out inside a confined space, and the duration for the time period you are going to work, and what are the special conditions in that confined space. This sets the context for the rest of your plan. Based on this scope of work, you will define the hazards and the risk management for that confined space. The next step of confined space will be to conduct a thorough examination, or you can say a hazard evaluation for that area, to example identifying the atmospheric risk in that area, like the presence of toxic gases, the oxygen deficiency or flammable gases, to check the mechanical hazards, electrical or any chemical or other energy sources are present in the confined space, shall be evaluated in this stage. Well, the third step and a very important step in a confined space entry plan to ensure that all type of energy sources have been isolated and have been clearly marked, like the valves, the switches and the lockouts have been implemented, including even the drawing to be studied using a blinds list to verify that all energy sources are fully isolated or disconnected physically. Well, the fourth step in the confined space entry plan to ensure that proper cleaning and ventilation is provided to that confined space, like for in cleaning to remove the residues and to ensure a safe atmosphere is present for the entry. In cleaning, normally at Aramco site, using flushing, purging, or air movers are used to provide proper ventilation, and monitoring the confined space continuously during the entry. The step number 5 says the plan how the personnel will enter and how they will exit. Example, using the ladders, using the platforms or scaffolding are needed inside the confined space, and to ensure the emergency egress is always possible in the confined space or kept open. Well, in step number 6, to ensure the barriers and the confined space area or the confined space zone is totally disconnected or secure, to ensure that unauthorized person does not enter in the area, or the vehicles or pedestrian workers are out of the danger zone. To install the barrier, we ensure that the area is fully secured and will be only allowed for the persons who are supposed to work in the confined space. If the confined space is a type of vertical position like tank and columns, so the fall protection is required, like if it is 1.8 meter in depth, so the fall protection must be provided or should be included in the confined space entry plan, like using the full body harness, The anchor points are present to training requirements for your team for considering the fall protection system. Well, the step number 8, the atmospheric gas test plan should be ensured to mention in the confined space entry plan to ensure that the oxygen levels, the H2S, LEL, and the level of carbon monoxide are mentioned in the confined space entry plan, and should be ensured that the gas testing devices are fully calibrated and are provided with the stickers or the calibration certificate at site. Well, the requirement of personal protective equipment should be mentioned in the confined space entry plan. Like each confined space is different in nature. So select the appropriate personal protective equipment like the flame resistant clothing, the gloves, hard hats, respirators, and chemical resisting gears depending on the hazards present in the confined space and the hazards which have been evaluated in the first stage of the confined space entry plan. Well, at the step number 10 in the preparation of confined space entry plan, you must mention the requirement of work permit at the area. So before entering into the confined space, acquiring of work permit is so important, like the confined space entry permit, the hot work or the cold work. Before any work begins in the confined space, only a trained or a competent person can receive work permit from the Saudi Aramco work permit issuer. Well, the important thing to be mentioned in the confined space entry plan is the emergency and rescue arrangements. You must have the trained and competent rescue team. They must practice the emergency drills, and the emergency contact numbers are posted on the side, and the rescue team are aware to who they will call and what they will do during the emergency scenario. Well, technically, it is called SIMOP, the simultaneous operations. When there is more than one contractors are involved in the same space and they are working closely, so both have a kind of effect of their activities from each other. So they must have a close coordination and sometime a shared approach or a shared documented approach to that area to overcome the hazardous situation and prevent any kind of mishap to both of the contractors. Well, the final approach, once the confined space entry plan is formulated and developed and that is approved, so the approved copy of confined space entry plan shall be distributed among the involved personnel like the entrants, the attendants, the confined space entry supervisors, the rescue personnel, and even the contractors who are working there in the same space. So it should be posted and distributed to each of them. Review the confined space entry plan upon if there is any shift changes or a kind of changes into the conditions. Thank you very much for watching this video from the Safety and Compliance Center. Drop your questions to the comment section and I will respond it shortly. This is your channel, like it and subscribe it for more safety contents. Stay safe, stay blessed, and goodbye.